Well, hello everyone. We are live again with episode 39. We missed one last week. I would like to say, it's hi from sunny and glorious Florida, but it's sunny, but it's not so glorious in big parts, big parts of the country. And it's been such a devastating week for so many people. And yeah, it will take a long time for everybody to get over this. We came out pretty good, but now we know exactly what we need for the next hurricane or bad storm. So we learned something here. So hi, Sarah. Hi, everybody else who showed up. And yeah, welcome.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Yes, we definitely missed you all, but we're so thankful that Tony's okay. And a lot of people are okay, but a lot of people still are suffering down in Florida, and just so sad seeing the pictures and whatnot.
Yeah, I put a few videos on my Facebook profile, and it's unbelievable. And every day you see more of the devastation. And yesterday I saw one of a stray cat that a guy tried to rescue, and I was in tears and thinking about all these feral colonies. They're everywhere, and even stray dogs. I mean, cats can easily go higher up, but for dogs, it's a different story. And it's not only the dogs. I saw a picture of the ocean water that came constantly closer, or the Gulf water, and people are inside, and there is this deer standing there on the beach, and it's like frozen, and it's like, oh my gosh.
I know the poor animals. And I mean, animals definitely have instinct, but with a storm that was this size, was almost like, where can they go?
Yeah, I know they have instincts and they know before we even know, what is happening. But this was, I don't know at this time. It was odd. It was long, and we were right in the middle. The eye came over it. That's why they were these twisters. And I went to sleep, and my husband stayed up, and he kept, checking around the house, and everything was still okay. We had to, we had to secure all our plants and everything that was loose, which we did. And it's a good thing that we did, because the next day when we looked around, it was like roofs were blown off, carports disappeared. They were in the lakes, because all the houses here, most of the houses here are all around the lakes, small lakes. And it was, my gosh, aluminum everywhere. Because these are manufactured homes, so it's all aluminum. And we just had a new roof, and I was just telling Sarah how happy I was. I had this particular roof chosen because the wind could not get under it. It's very smooth, rounded edges, and it nothing happened to it. And all the roofs here in the community that blew off were all aluminum roofs, older roofs, and a lot of damages. It's like every house seemed to have some damages, and the trees that are down, you won't believe it. It's like the streets here, all the streets in this little town were lined with big piles of cut up trees and roofs, or no roofs, branches, and Spanish moss. It's like unbelievable. The streets were green with everything that blew off the streets. It was yeah, it was a weird thing to see. And we were without power. And that is where we come. Okay, now what do? You don't have power. Your computer doesn't work, your phone doesn't work, your lights don't work. I mean, lights is okay. I now know what kind of light I prefer, and that was that little headband thing where you have a light on your forehead that works like a charm. And we found that in the drawer on the third day of having no power, which was actually kind of funny. But it's, yeah, you start reading, and your books come in handy, because anything else, your computer is not working unless you have a backup power. And I put all my books away other than my health book. So I started reading a book about iridology.
There you go.
But it also showed me that we have been talking here about getting a generator. And you have these generators on fuel, on dual fuel, even gas and butane. And I have a cat running in front of me again. And then you have the solar powered. And yeah, if I would have had my computer, I could, work on an ebook I'm working on or reading. But it was like kind of a step back few days. And I think that is good because leading up that to that storm, I was stressed. I was very stressed. And it's like, yeah, well, it's just another storm. And I made a mistake to constantly look at all these weather reports. And you know exactly what they are doing. They make a drama before it is a drama. Eventually, it became a drama. But then it's like leading up to it, it's for me, it was easy going through. My heart goes out to all the people who went through it and lost everything. I mean, literally everything. But it was the stress that didn't help definitely did not help my health. And there's something else. I had my freezer full of fruit. And what do you think that I wanted to eat? Cooked food.
Oh.
But this is another thing with the generator. We did not have a generator until the third day that we were without power because half the community here had power back and we didn't, and somebody offered their generator. So we took his offer, and we could power up the freezer again because we have a separate freezer for all the fruits. And some was, already thawed, but for fruit, that doesn't really matter that much. And then you have your fruit in okay, now you have to power in your blender to make a smoothie, for instance, or your it wasn't even the juicer. We didn't have fresh fruit anyway, but it was the juicer. So it's like, okay, now what size of generator do you need? And do you want to have that one that makes a ton of noise? But actually, that's not something to really worry about. But now I know what we need, and what is important. It was important to keep that freezer around because I think there was easily like for $500 of fruit in there. But then when you look at it, okay, what is $500 on? Yeah. Because a simple generator easily is $500, and you can barely power a freezer on it.
Yeah, if you're lucky now too, and those are usually the open frame ones that are pretty loud.
They are. So yeah, we have been looking at the inverter generators, and it's, my God, the prices. But there is kind of a peace of mind in not having any food is not so bad either. I mean, we can fast. We know we can. We can. For a lot of people, it would be difficult, but we know we can fast. And I had enough food for the kitties, that was important to me. So all in all the fresh veggies, the salads, that we had, they all went bad. So that was the second day already, they were gone.
Oh,
but
geez.
it's yeah, and now you're looking at it, it's like, okay, is there another storm coming? Because a few more weeks and hurricane season is over. The waters cool down, there's more cool air coming, so there's not that much to worry.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was yeah, the whole house generator. It's I think it was around $10,000, I think, when we
they're
inquired
expensive.
about that. And then when I lived here in January, I've been here for 18 years. And yeah, we have been without power. We have gone through a few hurricanes, but I think this 3 days was the longest we were ever without power. So I'm like, yeah, the whole house generator, that's just, if I have too much money, which I don't, then maybe, as kind of peace of mind. But it's like, it wasn't that important. And there was another thing that, of course, your air conditioning unit doesn't work. Well, outside it is usually 30. Well, I was saying 30 degrees, but that is in Celsius. So, but it's easily 85 to over 90 degrees here. Years ago, I think 12 years ago, they were put in double glass windows. I didn't even need an air conditioning. It never got over like 74 degrees. So that is also a
Nice.
good thing to have. And it's
Mhm.
also a safety thing. I mean, you don't blow out these kind of windows as easily as just single glass.
Yep. And they hold, the cool air in and hot air in better, winter and summer. And plus in the summer, they block it out better. So, yep.
Yeah, I don't right now it's only, I have it always set to 78 degrees. It's only 74 in the house. So it keeps the house cool. So that is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I always sleep with a ceiling fan on. And I was like, oh my gosh, how is that going to work? Well, we just, when we could open the window, we opened the windows and cool air blew in, so it wasn't a big deal.
Yep.
So you learn that certain things are really not a big deal,
Mm-hmm.
and we came through fine.
That's wonderful. Dr. Morse's clinic, which we were discussing too, didn't come through so well, but
No,
thankfully they are all okay.
yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything. He did not mention that in the Telegram group, how he survived his house and all his trees. I mean, he has a huge yard with fruit trees, and it's beautiful. There's actually a video of his garden on YouTube. So he hasn't mentioned anything about that. And but yeah, the clinic, the roof caved in, and they have a lot of water damage. So they are actually looking for a new building. And a lot of people have been helping. He set up, they set up a funding so people can help them out financially. And he's always there for us, answering questions. And so yeah, I think they deserve whatever money everybody is giving them. So that is a good thing. But I heard from a colleague that he had a large collection of crystals, and all his special things that people are sending him, like drawings. And I once sent him a tree of life with crystals, and he has all that in his office. So a lot of these things are probably destroyed. So yeah.
That's sad to hear. But
Yeah, and he already had, physically he had a not so great time, because you can see it. He looks tired and lost weight. So yeah, we'll pray for him that he gets through this good. Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, this is a good thing for us all to kind of reevaluate. And like Toni was saying, we have our fruits, we have dried fruits, sometimes even canned fruits, or things like that, or taking the option of fasting or water fasting, or even if something like that is coming. Just off the top of my head, I might even juice a whole bunch of stuff and have it on hand. Can it stay cold? I guess, get your coolers ready and get ice ready. But even during Hurricane Katrina, we had lost power all the way in Ohio for almost a week when it made landfall and came up. And I remember we even had 70-mile-per-hour sustained winds all the way up here it was hours. So, I mean, you never know. Just because it was all the way down Louisiana doesn't mean, that it can't affect other places too. But I mean, the way that this storm just passed it encompassed so much of Florida. So it's good just to always be kind of, thinking and just have your backup for your backup. And then your last would be fasting. But if you're already on your fruits and you're used to that, the fast is not as hard as it would be, say, if you were basically on the SAD diet and then most people would think they're starving to death at that point.
Yeah, and when I said that I was stressed out, that I had anxiety, it had nothing to do with food. That was not even on my mind. It was, the reason actually was that once we bought this house, we still had home insurance on it, on the previous owner's name. And when we wanted to get insurance in our own name, and I was a little lax with it. And when I wanted it, it was like, well, there is a storm coming, and we don't write any policies. No company in Florida wanted to write any policies. And here I am, with a lot of investment in a new home. And, you have to pay things off. And then it's like, oh my gosh, will my house still stand? That was my concern. That was actually, it's a 40-year-old manufactured house. How strong is it? Well, it's stronger than I thought it would be.
Well, I wish we could have sent the armor of God to the whole entire state of Florida, but I know a lot of us were trying, and everyone was praying.
Willem, my husband, we felt so blessed. We were so grateful, and lives have been spared in this area. And I got so many prayers from people and good wishes, and, it helped. It absolutely helped. There was only one that I had to respond to who said, I hope it goes further down south so it won't hit you. And I was like, well, I hope not, because then it will hit those people. So it goes where it needs to go, and we'll get through it. So yeah, it's an interesting things to go through things like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, we hope everyone else is doing well. And if anyone else was affected in our little chat that we have going on here or whatnot, and hope you all are doing well and having a good start to this beautiful fall week.
Can you hear my cat?
A little bit. I don't mind it.
She is bumping into my arm, and it's like crazy. It's like, hey, you're talking, so
yeah, she wants to be part of the conversation. She has a lot to say. I was the other day, my horse, he was in an area he shouldn't have been, so I moved him over and I put him in, and I was like, okay, well, just enjoy the rest of the evening out here. I'll be back. And he was whinnying at me. And I was like, wait, what do you want? And he was like, he wanted to go in. And as I was walking away, he was calling me back, and he wanted to go into the barn. So I started walking back toward him, and he started walking towards the gate, and then he'd stand there and wait for me and then look at me and kind of snicker a little bit. And then, so yeah, they for sure talked. Oh yeah. We gotta listen.
They know what they want.
Mm-hmm.
I just see a message from Susan that she couldn't hear me. I hope everybody else can hear me.
I think that was in the very beginning.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I see. Now I can hear you. Okay. Yeah. Guys, I just put the Zoom link up on the top. I pinned it. So if you want to join into the conversation with us, then please click the link and come on in.
Yes, we're ready for some questions.
Yeah, Katie is not here. Katie always has questions.
Actually, Katie is here. She was kind of up higher in there, so she might just be listening. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So grateful. She says, so grateful that you're all okay. Definitely holding all those who weren't so lucky in her thoughts. I actually do have a question too. So we got that Manuka honey and the calendula salve for the issue that my mom is having on her back. Do those get mixed together, or do you use them separately?
I would use them separately.
Okay. So like one day one, and then the other day the next.
I don't know. We know that I have seen amazing results with calendula.
Mm-hmm.
And that was back in the Netherlands, and that calendula was with wool fat, but there's another word for that. Sheep's wool.
That's lanolin.
Lanolin. Okay. Yes. It was based on lanolin, and there was nothing else in there but the calendula and the lanolin. Nowadays, they added all kinds of stuff. But back then, I've had this stuff. I traveled with it. It was always, always there, wherever wherever I went. And it was a good thing because I have seen it with my husband who had a motorcycle accident and he had road rash in his, all this little, the sand and his little stones in his, from his elbow to his wrist and in his knees. And even the doctor couldn't get it out. She tried with a tweezer, get all this out. And I was like, forget about it. We just put calendula on it and a little, what is it? What do you call that stuff? Not Band-Aid, but gauze. Put a little gauze on it, and then in a few hours, it pulled it out. It pulled out the sand and the dirt. And after a week, you could barely see that anything happened. I had to clean it. I had to redress it twice a day, 2-3 times a day. But it all came out, and it barely left any. I forgot a word again.
Any scars or anything like
Scars,
that?
that is the word. Thank you.
Yep.
And another person who was actually stabbed with a knife and was in what was back then Yugoslavia, and was a kind of a hostile environment when we were traveling there, and they actually thought what we were Germans. It was a crazy situation. Anyway, I had put on the calendula with the gauze, and I think it was only 3 days, and it was healed. So it's crazy stuff.
Crazy good.
Great, crazy good. Absolutely. So if you have the pure stuff, and sometimes I wonder, was it actually the lanolin who does it, or was it the calendula? But I have to go with the calendula. It's but the thing is, I love reading about natural hygiene diets, and Lauren Whiteman, she has a group on Facebook. In natural hygiene, you do not use any herbs at all. Your body can heal, but I don't know. I do believe in herbs because I have seen the power of it. But they are like, if you close something off, your body didn't get rid of it. But with the calendula and that road rash that Willem had, everything came out. So it actually cleaned it out. Now, would the body have, been able to get it out anyway? Probably. So it is, I'm always, weighing things as what is the most important. So yeah, should we, and I know Dr. Morse, absolutely, he's all about the herbs, and I have been too, and I have seen powerful things, but when I read what Lauren Whiteman writes, then I cannot discard it. I mean, she is right in so many things. And yeah,
absolutely. Now I did hear Dr. Morse make a comment on something, but I do think it was an older, and he said that most of the people that he gets coming into his clinic, they're very sick. He's not getting people that have been on this fruit journey for a long time and are just kind of wanting to tweak things here and there. People that are coming to him and his staff, they're already like stage 7 of their acidosis and stuff like that. So they're pretty sick. And can our body heal itself if you give it enough time? Absolutely. But the people that he's seen, do they really have time left? So in my opinion, that's where the herbs kind of step in and they help speed the process for our body. And we're not saying that the body can't heal itself if it has the time, but when you're that sick, you may just need the help from the herbs.
Yeah, I do believe so too. Grant, you are mentioning black salve, and yes and no. Black salve, you have varieties, and I don't know which one of the herbs it is that is so pulling. But have you ever heard Dr. Morse talking about a person who had put it on something on a nose and the whole nose disappeared?
Mm-hmm.
And it is very aggressive. So it is not that you use it. Yeah, you need to use it to pull something out. I know of someone who has breast cancer, and her breast was already removed, and now it is a new tumor is starting to come out, and it's like, should you put black salve on it? I spoke with Dr. Morse about this, and he actually did a video a few weeks ago about this case. And he had already told me, if you use the black salt with tumors like that, you better get morphine from your doctor, because it's going to hurt. So there is a lot of black salve on the market. I have one from Dr. Christopher, and it was actually one that I bought at Dr. Morse's clinic. It's not doing that much. It is black, but there seems to be one that is more pulling. But according to Dr. Morse and Megan, who works at his clinic, they said they have not found a really good one. And he does want to make one himself, but it's a formula that you have to be careful with. And as soon as people can get their hands on it, they may use it in, in situations and symptoms that it shouldn't be used.
Yep. And I heard that too. And he actually said that it is hard to get a hold of. And I think that's why he was wanting to start hopefully making his own. But, that's one of the things that you definitely need to be educated on, or use it under the care of someone such as Toni or Dr. Morse.
Well, the only thing that I can say is, you have to be careful with it and know what to expect. It's not all, it's not that easy. You'll pull black salve on it and it pulls it right out. Maybe that would actually be a good thing, is once we have the Garden of Eden further working, is put a group there that is about black salve, and what have you used and what is your experience with it. I think that would be quite interesting to figure that out, because everybody seems to know about black salve. But if you ask people now, what exactly is that one pulling herb that is in there, nobody really knows. Yeah, Dr. Morse knows, but
yeah. Well, I wonder if it's like each part of it expresses another part when it's combined together. Something like that in there. Grant, if you need to pull splinters out, I would just use some duct tape. Not the black salve.
No, not black salve. And if it's a deep in, yes, you can use the calendula, and then it would be good if it is on a lanolin base or another plant fat, because that kind of loosened it up on the skin and you can get splinters out. So no, don't ever use, see, this is already that where we think, oh yeah, black salve pulls things out. This is not when you use black salve with a splinter.
He definitely said it with laughing emojis, though.
Yeah, a minor thing, but this is what people do who are not that well informed. They heard it's like, oh, you need black salve to pull it out. If I sometimes see the answers, the comments to a question in the Fans of Dr. Morse group, I cringe with the solutions they come up with. It's amazing. Like, they have never heard, or they don't even make sense. They've never heard of what Dr. Morse would suggest. It's like, it can be kind of scary.
Yeah, there's some comments in there where they might as well just say, no, go and just eat that animal standing there in the pasture without even doing anything to it. I'm like, no, it's so backwards, everything you're saying in that comment.
Yeah, I have to think about something that Colleen mentioned a few days ago to me. This is about bacteria, and And together with what Colleen experienced with her animals and what I just read from Lauren Whiteman about bacteria, this goes back to the protein, spike proteins. And can you get, somebody has been vaccinated, the other person isn't, and now they're both sick. So is that because of the spike protein? Well, Lauren's answer was actually interesting, and in a way, it was funny because it was just too ridiculous to think of. She said, first of all, and we know that the people in the same household usually eat the same food. So they can get sick from the food, or the food your body didn't want it. You can be both stressed out, you can handle less, and you ate the same, so now you have the same responses. It's kind of logical. She said, but to get the spike protein from another person, you would have to eat their poop and drink their urine for a long time. And then still you may only get maybe 10% of it. And, so that was that. I thought it was a great answer. So I hope, that would make people like, no, there's no such thing as spike protein, and it's not what you get from others. Of course, there are, fear is a big part of it. We all know, I've even had it. I have a great, very good friend that I'm close to here in the community, and she was vaccinated, and I was like, should I hug her or not? Even the thought, in with everything that I know, even it came up. So yeah, we hope nothing happened. But now, going back to Colleen and bacteria, she had a dog who died. The dog was already in plastic. 2 dogs sniffed that dead dog, because animals, I've seen that with my cats, they say goodbye to, the other pets that you have, the other animals that you have. They sniffed that dog and they got sick right away. This is possible because bacteria is everywhere. And of course, you do not want the bacteria from another person in your body. So, and at first, I wasn't sure about it, if that can really happen, that one dog, a healthy, in quotes, dog, live dog, sniffs a dead dog and then gets sick. But I think, it's very, very well possible, because, bacteria is everywhere. Bacteria is in our body. I mean, without bacteria, there wouldn't actually be life.
Yep. And I know that Charlie and Colleen's dogs, I don't know how long they had that dog, but I know that they feed them very well as you can feed a dog. And so I don't even know where those dogs would have been on their new diet, in their journey of their new diet, or if it was one of the dogs they just adopted or not. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that is what I discussed with her too. All these dogs that come in, they have a terrible background. They're not healthy to begin with, and they are detoxing and they are trying to get healthy. Is the food optimal? There's still cooked food in it. I strongly feel that animals should not eat any grains. But we know that Nora Lenz from rotational monofeeding, I am not 100% sure. I thought I was, but I think there is quinoa in that diet. It's just not mixed with fruit or with meat, but they eat quinoa. Quinoa is a seed. It needs to be cooked to be digested. So would I feed my dog grains? No, absolutely not. And I rather not feed it cooked food either. It would be fruits and it would be raw meats.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
I don't have a dog to experiment on, and I I can't kill a mouse for my cats, so I can't kill anything. So yeah.
No, cats are different. I mean, I have 7 cats, and there may be one or two are willing, and those are actually the ferals, willing to eat raw food. But
Mm-hmm.
even the raw cat food that you can buy, and it comes in frozen, they added all kinds of vitamins and minerals, and it's like,
Yep. So like, just
yeah,
let it be, people. Just let it be.
yeah,
Yeah, I can't even watch my ferals kill something. Matter of fact, like if I'm present, I'm one of them people that will interfere. And I know that goes both ways, but I just can't. Like, I'm a kind person. And I also think to myself that I'm here for a reason, So, like, if I wasn't supposed to be here to intervene because God already knows I will intervene, then I wouldn't have been there. Because there are no mistakes, is the way I look at it too. So if I can prevent it, I will. But if something's already like half dead, then I just walk away. But there's, I mean, I want me to just hold it and wait for it to pass too. Like, I don't know. It just really depends on each situation. But they definitely kill moles. They kill mice. They kill birds. They kill a lot of things. But they are feral cats, and they are acting as God created them to be. We do have a couple of questions. One, Katie does have a question. She wants to know about going to the chiropractor is good, and she did kinked her back.
yeah. I don't know what you mean by kinked your back. I have seen that with myself and with my husband. Had a lot of back issues, and usually with rest, it heals. Lower back is often a weak area because if the kidneys are not filtering. We found that making sure that you're well hydrated, it heals faster. And yeah, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by kinked. If you I know you have, if you pick up your kid in a wrong way, that you then hurt your back. Yeah, I mean, a chiropractor can be good. If it is a good chiropractor, you can definitely check it out. So, but otherwise, it is rest, and probably with your kids, that's not what you're going to get. So,
Mm-hmm. I've been to a chiropractor a few times in the past, and I never enjoyed it. I don't like that feeling. It makes me tense up more than probably what I should be. And they've only adjusted my neck maybe once or twice in my life. And I will not let people touch my neck like that again. But I definitely believe in massage therapy for sure. And once you get your kidneys filtrated, lymphatic massage would be something good. She
yeah,
says she picked up the baby wrong. Oh, that's always
yeah,
the worst.
I figured that.
Yeah. Well,
All moms seem to do that.
yep. Sometime or another. Rest and what about like hot and cold therapies and that kind of stuff?
No, you don't need to be nervous about it. I
No,
mean,
hot and cold therapies and resting.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh,
don't
you're
be,
talking to Katie's comment. I think you misheard me. I'm sorry.
yeah, she said I've never been, and I'm very nervous about it. Yeah, I've been to chiropractors because I was told that my one side of my body I was not even. I mean, they wanted to put extra height in my shoes, so my hips would be level. And it was like I tried it for a few months, and then I'm like, nope, threw it out, never did it again. And I've been to chiropractors, and they thought they fixed it. And then 2 weeks later, it was like, what did you do? You cannot lift anything more than, I think it was 2 pounds, And so it was in my 20s. Others had to do all the work for me. It didn't make a difference. My body did what it wanted to do. And it was like, I gave up on it. I've had a really bad fall in gymnastics when I was 14. And I thought that my lower back problems came from that. But when I was told through Iridologist I had bad kidneys in my early 20s, And now looking back, and it's like, okay, now I know where my lower back problems are coming from. And it was not necessarily that fall in gymnastics. I have weak kidneys, so the whole area is weak. I had herniated disc twice, hurts like hell. And but it was a rest that healed it. They thank goodness they told me it was not operable, because otherwise I probably would have had surgery because the pain is crazy. But it couldn't be operated, so I had no choice but rest, which I did. And it
And
took about 5-6 weeks. It's like yeah, it was and I had it twice in yeah, with maybe 4 years in between. And this is back in the 90s, never had it since. I want to go to Grant with his my wife got 2 vaccines and I've had problems since then. Well, it depends on what kind of problems, what kind of problems did you have before, and what exactly is it now? There is something weird with these vaccines. Everybody, I hope everybody knows that by now, but I still see people who are in line to get the next one. But I don't know. I have been around a lot of people because everybody in this community here is vaccinated. And I haven't noticed anything. So I don't know. It could be because of what Grant, that there is just more fear. And we know fear is acidic, and you create issues that are maybe not there. I've heard from a lot of people that they said, yeah, they're vaccinated and now I have problems. But then I want to know, fill out a health questionnaire. I want to know all the problems that you had before, and what are you guys eating? What kind of diet are you all on? It's like we don't know. We really don't know what the effect is in what exactly is in it. But there's more information coming out every day. Enough that I think it's crazy if anyone wants to take it.
Mhm.
Come on, Sarah, you got to talk.
Say, well, I was reading the comment. I'm sorry. She says, now about every time I bend over, I feel pain on my right side. And what else I was going to input to that was, keep in mind that we all have kidney issues. Even if you've been on this path for a little while there, our kidneys have just had so much cooked food and so much protein over the years that we're still going to have kidney issues. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Grant, how old are you? Kind of curious to know, because I see so many problems that people have with people. I have to say men in this case, with the prostate when they get to a certain age. But I also saw it in somebody who's barely 30 years old. So we always have to go back to the diet. Change your diet and have your body healed. Your body can detox. And the best way to detox, we know, is fasting. And not necessarily dry fasting, but it can be juice, it can be water fast. And to know how your body is responding, why not try 3 days, do 3 days of a water fast? Or what I am doing right now is a lemon water fast. And see, how it goes. See if problems that you have are changing. And yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
I wanted to say something too about because I know I'm going to forget, but I found the episode where everybody's talking about saggy skin, and with Dr. Morse, I found the episode where he talks about connective tissue.
Yep.
And he says, and if you fix that connective tissue through this process, he said all the women are going and getting Botox and all this other stuff, which I know men do as well. But it will just tone and tighten that saggy skin right back up if you take care of your connective tissue. So I'll post a link to that, or at least like what it's called on here and the timestamp if anyone's interested in
Yeah,
hearing.
that would absolutely be good. And I can even put it on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is important, because a lot of people, you lose a lot of weight, and it's like, even I have it, I have my wings, although my wings are getting a little less, I think.
Your wings, you can fly. Grant is lost 70 pounds in 18 months from 80% raw fruit and vegetables, and he's 51.
Yeah, it is. What you mentioned with male organs, if you were talking, you could talk about, there's so many men who have problems with erection, with even wanted to have sex, with the prostate. There's so much going on, and we live in such a stressful time. And even if you are on, like what you mentioned, you say you're 80% raw fruit and vegetables. Now, the most important part that you are leaving out is, what is that 20%? What are you eating there? That is more important for me to know than that you are on 80% fruit and raw veggies. And that can make all the difference. Even for me, it can be 95% fruit and 5% is something else. That is that one avocado, and it makes a difference. So it really is. Look at your diet always. You want to heal, then cut out fats, all the things. What is it? Yeah. Yes, you can get dizzy from a sinus infection.
Not just an infection, just sinus in general.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's that lymph moving around.
And it's not an infection. It is it's detox. And fast. Go on all fruit. Go on your 3, 5, 7 days water fast. You can do it. And have more junk coming out and let your body heal. It's all about having stuff coming out, but don't put in, the meat, dairy, eggs, and cooked food and fermented food and chips and well, it is cooked, it's baked, and oils and whatnot. So that is not good, Grant. Look at your diet. Go on your 3-day water fast. Really, that is the only thing that you can do, that there's no salve that you can put on it so it would be less. There's no doctor that can say, okay, you need this medication to heal. You really have to look at what you're eating and write it down and let me know. I mean, I'll put my email in here, and it's of course no way. If you send things to Healthy with Fruit and you want to communicate with me, we can talk about it, go over things, and get this better. Well, cut out the seafood, please. Yeah, you are in Louisiana. Cut out the seafood.
We know you live in Cajun country, but gotta let it go. Let it go. Oh,
yeah, that goes for everyone. If you have questions and we haven't addressed it deeply enough here in the chat, then send me an email and we go over things. It is, I said it so many times that every time I eat lightly cooked food, a soup, and a soup that you think, my God, this is healthy, but it's cooked, it sets me back.
Mm-hmm. It's especially when you're still acidic. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And that even just goes back to, do you use herbs or do you let your body heal itself? How much time do you have? How sick are you? And again, like, herbs are not like that magic pill. They're still just allowing your body to do what it needs to do. But then the same here is, Susan, she's having like dizzy spells. Those are horrible. Like, you can't even function with those. And then we're sitting here saying like, yeah, just let it dry, or let it, your body work on it. I mean, that's very hard to work with dizzy spells, and just wait for those to really pass. But try the cold and hot compresses. I know that we can probably paste a link to those too, where you start with cold and then do hot and then end with cold. You can do the showers that way as well. Keep in mind, orange juice is very pulling. We are at the end of, I forget which orange it is, but we're at the end of that season, and we're still 2 weeks out from the Valencia orange season. So get some orange juice and kind of stay on that. Watermelon's also very pulling for your head. Well, what about pineapple juice? Because I know that we talk about pineapples a lot, and they're very hard to get,
Yeah,
at least ripe ones.
don't.
Okay.
I wanna post the hot and cold compresses, because people are often doing it the wrong way. You do not put it in your neck, you put it on the base of your skull. So it's not in the neck, it's above the neck.
Yeah, and they do work, and you can do the compress, or you could do the shower, you could do a combination of them. And I believe you can do it as many times throughout the day as you want. Is that correct?
I don't know. I just read the whole thing and I didn't even remember. But here it is. Go read it.
I do mine in the morning, and then I do them in the evening.
Oh.
Before bed, like if I'm having issues. But so far so good.
Yeah, and Grant and Sue, we mentioned that in more than once. It's like, get your kidneys to filter in the morning, pee in the glass jar, let it sit for 6 hours, and check if there is any sediment in it. This all makes a difference. If your kidneys are not filtering, your lymph is stagnated. If your lymph is stagnated, you get all kinds of symptoms. And for you, Grant, that's pretty bad. I can only imagine what pain that is. So it is really important that you look at your diet, get your kidneys to filter, and I can assure you, if you keep eating even your lightly cooked soup and seafood, I don't even know what the seafood is. If is it raw, is it cooked, what kind of seafood is it? Is it breaded? Is it done in oil? I mean, there are so many ways that you can do that. And so yeah, get the kidneys to filter, and mucus needs to come out. If it is cloudy, great. The more that comes out, the better it is. And that is what a cold is. It is your body need to detox. And the problem, there is a problem, and I am experiencing that. The more acidic a person is, the less colds they have, and then they live with the assumption, oh, I'm never sick. Isn't that weird? You would think that you are so acidic that it has to come out. I think in my life, I only had one time the flu and 2 times a cold. I was very acidic. So
yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, we don't, we'll get that, sinusy kind of mucusy stuff, but that's pretty much it. And we're hoping it's kind of, I don't want to say I'm like waiting for something to happen, but it's almost like I want to see, like, test it, how far have I come in this journey? What will it be like come this winter? How will we detox through the winter because of the cold weather? That kind of stuff too. But, obviously I don't want anything to happen, but there's still that curiosity to see how far we've come on this journey. Yeah, it definitely. Shrimp and fish.
Yeah, and I don't know what simple shrimp and fish is.
I guess a small little, like, doesn't have like a whole bunch to it shrimp. I don't know.
Yeah, I was talking about Willem about the fish that we used to eat at the markets in the Netherlands, in the town where we lived nearby was Groningen. And on Saturday they had a big market there, and there were all these stands with fried fish. They put it in newspapers. I've been doing that since the 50s, so that was a normal thing to do. And but those were delicious. But yeah, they were breaded, and they were in who knows what kind of oil.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, I I haven't had any. There's a fish restaurant. There's several here, and it's always very, very busy there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, I don't like that stuff anymore. I haven't eaten it in 5, 6, 7 years now.
Right.
But the memories of as a child when we eat that, and we eat, it was like something like ale and mackerel and smoked mackerel and very, very fat.
Right.
Yeah, that was, my childhood food. No wonder,
Mm-hmm.
no wonder I had so many problems. That
Aw.
including the milk and the grains and the cheese.
Yep. Well, and just keep in mind too, like they are sentient beings. No matter how big, how small, they live in the water, live in the land, or live in the land or fly in the sky. They do not want to die.
No.
And even if you are fishing and releasing that kind of thing, I can remember my family did fish and I would go as well, but I would never have a hook. I would tie on like Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, that kind of thing. They would wet them, and I forget what they called them. And I would tie that onto with my little rope, and I would sit there and I'd have all the fish over there by me. And so I would even just feed them as a kid. And I can remember they'd pull the fish out and they'd hold them and watching the fish just gasp for air.
Yeah.
And it would make me panic. And I would just be like, just put it back, just put it back, just put it back. And of course, everybody hated when I went because I was, the one always telling them everything they were doing wrong. But whatever. I guess I've been a very strong kid like that too, and still come through that way as an adult. But yeah, they don't want to die either. So eating the fish is definitely not a kind thing to do. Crawdads, shrimp, whatever you call them, but they want to live just as much as we do, and they have little families, even if they think not. People think like snakes, I guess, don't have like feeling and stuff like that. But have you ever seen snakes like with their like little gardener snakes with their babies, or how they all like kind of stay together and stuff? So there's definitely even has to be something even on that level where people think snakes have no feelings whatsoever, but they have to have something within them in their family of some sort. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You
They're
see that with all animal life.
all animals.
Yeah,
Even when I
Grant.
clean the barn,
Uh,
if I see eggs, like spider eggs, I don't touch them. Like I can't even do that.
no.
I'm like, well, I'll just after y'all hatch.
Yeah. Grant, you're saying what I eat does not have blood in it. Is that an excuse to keep eating it?
We
Do
can't
you want
justify
do you
things like
want
that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, 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 doesn't fly here.
Mm-mm. No,
If you want to get
they're all
Yeah,
God's creatures, and
yeah,
God put them
give it
all
up.
here.
Give it up. I don't know where that is coming from. If it doesn't have blood in it, you can eat it. It's like, nope.
Mm. It's
It's
life.
it's a living creature, but if you don't want to do it because of that it being a living creature, then do it because it is affecting your health.
Yeah, you're feeling it. Like you feel it,
Yeah, and it
obviously.
only got worse. You
Hmm.
have now a very sensitive area. You don't want to get to a point. You have inflammation there. What is the next step from inflammation? It's
Hmm.
cancer. You want to go that route? You
Mm-mm.
really always look at your diet. And
100%.
it's like, yeah, I
Mhm.
have to be straightforward with this. It's like
Mm.
you want to heal, give it up.
Those are signs. I mean, you're literally having red flags, and that's the loudest your body can scream until the next is going to be the pain. And I know a
Well, it
lot of
is
us
a
have known people that have gone through the prostate cancer, and it's a very horrible, horrible process to watch. So definitely, please just take care of yourself. You're only 51. You're not even old. I mean, technically, you're not even middle age if we live to be 1,000. So just get with it, and you'll be happy that those are not on fire anymore. The other thing I want to say too is keep in mind, I know we've talked about this before, but again, like what I said too about the people that come to Dr. Morse are very sick. Probably some of the people that are here are just even starting their journey. So they're probably sicker than what their body's even letting on to know. I know a lot of people like Charlie and all them talk about avocados, and even Eugene talks about eating some of the things he eats. Charlie and Colleen are very far into the fruit journey. So they're able to do things that some people who are not so far into that journey can do, and they can tolerate things that we can't still. Eugene is pretty young still. So, I mean, like we said too, I mean, most of us survived on Mountain Dew and cheeseburgers and tobacco and beer when we were in our 20s, and our bodies were just fine. We're just paying that toll now in life. So everybody's at a little different level of their journey, and some are just sicker than others, and some are young, some are further. You just don't know. You just got to go with what your body can tolerate at this time and at what level of healing you want to be at. This is your journey.
It is. And Grant, I didn't mean to beat you up. I mean, I understand your fear, and big hugs for me, because I do understand the transition, but I also need you to know the severity of what you're going through and where it is coming from. So, you make the choices. You are the one who is in control over your body, over your health. And if you have a serious problem, then you have to look at what your food is.
Mm-hmm.
And all I want to do is make people understand how important it is, what food can do. I mean, I am the prime example of messing it up on a regular base, going all fruit for weeks at a time, and then I mess up one time, and it's a few steps back. So I know what food can do, and I've seen it. I talk with hundreds of people. I see what it can do.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
yeah.
And like Toni said, we weren't beating you up. I watched a thing too where they said that people that truly care or truly love you are going to be the ones that don't waver, and they're always saying what's good. And it might not be something you want to hear, but it's just only for your best interest. And because we want you to be around, we need people like you in this world to shine the light that we need. So that's why we say the things we do. It's only because we care, and we need all of our little light warriors to be together.
It's so funny what Katie said, that she showed the chart with frugivore, and that she was told she was left wing.
And that was like, left wing.
It's like,
what?
How the heck do people come up with this?
That's a very bad word to be called.
How did they even make that connection? It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, that's a dead end for now, but you never know. I run into dead ends all the time, and then like a few months later they're like, yeah, did you know that eating this is bad? And I'm like, I told you about that. But they had to hear it from somebody else, because
but you know what, Sarah, we don't tell. We are not going to say I told you so. No. We are not doing that, although we would love to at times, but we don't.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And Grant, we can only do the best that we can do at the time. But when you're in pain like that, we just pray that this changes for you, so you're not feeling that pain.
Yeah, I mean, pain is, now you mentioned pain. I mentioned that my sister is dying from cancer, and she goes through a tremendous amount of pain that even family do not understand that she can still handle it. But apparently she's not ready to give up yet. And but even as bad as things are for her, they told her she only has very little time here with us. They are still radiating her. How criminal is that?
I mean,
so, and I know, I know pain, and it's very depressing. And it's very worrisome, because then you wonder, am I doing the right things? And then, but anytime I fast or go on all fruit, I see the changes immediately. It's so fast. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. It sure is. And we just pray for your sister to have a swift passing, and that she's not in the pain anymore. And no matter what, it's so hard to sit back and watch.
It is also for her son. I mean, I don't get to see her. She's in the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. And yes, she's my little sister. She always was my little sister. I
Yeah.
was, I was the older one, but I was always, tall, and she was petite. So it was always my little sister. And
And
she
she
goes
she
through
always
this
will
now.
be.
Huh?
And she always will be. And when she
Yeah.
wakes up in the other side, then she'll
Yeah,
no more pain.
it's difficult. It's difficult for the family, and to see this happening. But yeah, we get at an age that we see a lot of people die around us, and
Mhm.
it's, I live in a retirement community. Everybody here is over 70,
Well,
almost
you're in
everybody.
Florida.
Yeah,
The
true.
United States retirement communities.
Yeah, very true. There were a lot of
Mm,
people coming into Florida until the hurricane happened, and a lot of people leaving now. Like, we don't want this again. And I
mhm.
can see that, if you see Sarasota, Punta Gorda, the islands there, Sanibel Island, I mean, like a bomb exploded.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And people say all the time too, like, well, why do I want to live to be so old when everybody I know is dying around me and stuff like that? And I've always thought that our goal is not to die. Our goal is to stay here as heaven on earth and to stand at the right hand side of God. And that's our journey. What else are you going to do? Just die and come back and pray that you are born back into a family that'll help guide you the way you're supposed to be? Or what if you come back and you forget everything? So you might as well, you're this far, continue on and try to get as far as you can, and just hope by the grace of God that if you do pass in this life, you are blessed enough to come into a family who is far on the journey like you were.
Yeah. I see Katie mentioning about a 12-year-old girl with cancer tumors all over. And you just know that child is very acidic. And if people do not want to listen,
Mm.
my gosh, it's I don't even know what I would have to do. I mean, I do see people that are very sick, and I saw it with my family. And you try to plant a seed, but if it's not their journey, it's not their journey.
Right.
But we can also look at it another way. Like, Katie, you said that you just found out this week. There's a reason that you found out. Think about that.
Yep. And the
Yeah.
way I usually talk with people about that is I say, you've given every other option, you have gone down every other path. If you want to, I know some people that could maybe give you some good information. If you want to check it out, here's the information, and leave it in their court.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
always tell them too that it's not, it's nothing invasive or anything. And, might as well give it a try if you've already been down every other path. And that's the way I kind of word it to people too. And
Well,
then
that
it's
is
up
the
to
way
them.
to do it. Yeah,
Mhm.
we have to do it in a gentle way, and but that there is actually help, because at some point, I know I did that. I mean, I went from, well, not necessarily doctor, but healers who had to say something, and every time I thought, oh, this is it. And I always committed for at least 3 months, and even sometimes 6 months before I was like, I'm getting worse. I'm not getting any better. So there must be something else. And it was only when I found Dr. Morse that things started to make sense. And there was a difference in a few days, and in 2 weeks, the difference was amazing. So then
Mhm.
that works.
Yeah, I
So
think
it's
we found it on a soul level, the same as we all did with the gnosis that Charlie teaches, especially about the Bible and the decodes and things like that. It was speaking to our souls and our higher self, if you want to call it that too. And when I found Dr. Morris and I found you, that's the way it felt too. Like I found the truth of truths.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was somebody asking on Telegram with Charlie, like, can he be trusted, or was he for real? And I was like, he is the one. He is the one to be trusted. So,
Mhm.
and that goes for us too. I mean, we're not telling any lies. We're not, sugarcoat things.
We're not
Um,
selling nothing, and Charlie's not selling
no,
nothing either.
no.
And we're all just on this journey with you all. And, we've never claimed to know everything, but we try to do everything as virtually as possible and always in the kindest ways too.
Now, I have been doing something that I had on my mind for a long time for people who had my protocols, and I always call it a herbal protocol and a little bit more. I gathered a lot of information. It comes from Grapegate, it comes from Dr. Morse, it comes from groups where files were shared, and I all put it together. And I put it together now in a separate PDF file, and I think I will come up close to 200 pages.
Wow.
And it has charts, iridology, teeth, breathing, about vitamins, about the hot and cold compresses. Everything is in there. There are some further unpublished Dr. Morse ebooks that are in there. And anyone who is listening here, I would love to send it to you, because I do have to charge some money for that. It's like, and I can even print it out for people, because reading it on a phone will drive you crazy. But I cannot do that for free. But the people who are here and listening, and they sent me an email within the next week to healthywithfruit@gmail.com. I will send it to you. And the reason I want to send it to you is because I want to have feedback. Feedback if things are making sense, if I should change something, if I should add something. And I compiled this based on all the questions that always keep coming up. It's about fasting, lemon fasting, grape fasting, it's all in there. So if you sent me an email, I will send you that book once it's finished, because I still have to make the index page, print it all out and put the index page in it. And it has about your great lymphatic system. It's a 48-page part. So it's very interesting. And it's like, it can work as a guideline on your healing journey. That's how I see it. But for me, it's like, I definitely want the feedback, positive or negative.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I did put my email in there, healthywithfruit@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
So I would appreciate that very much.
That's incredibly generous of you, and your time. You're always very generous with your time, and I am very grateful for it. And I feel like everyone in the chat is very grateful as well too. And I love being on this journey with you and everyone in the chat. It's just amazing. Thank you all.
Yeah, thanks everybody for being here. We already made it again to an hour and 15, 16 minutes by just chit-chatting away.
Absolutely.
So I hope to hear from you, and thank you all for being here. We will be back next week, same time. And we love you. Big hugs. Oh, gosh, sometimes I wish I could hug everybody.
One day.
Yeah.
Love you all. Thank you so much. Thank you, Toni.
Thank you, Sarah, for always being here.
100%.
With all the love that you have to give. So thanks. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.